All right. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all give me a thumbs up if you can still see my screen. Good. Okay, great. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, April the 9th, 10 a.m. Central. Very happy. Today's the day before my dog's birthday. Lucky dog's going to be 4 years old. Real excited about that. Um, don't you wish dogs knew that it was their birthday and that you weren't just really excited for no reason? All right, I'm kind of stalling because we like to give one more minute for people to jump onto the call before we get into it. So we are very, very excited to see everybody here with us on this hump day. All right, so the chat box is open and oh, we're going to be using some AI. How exciting. All right, so this session will be recorded as well. So all right, here we go. We have 10:01. Again, thank you very, very much for attending this PODScast with Petro IT. We're going to be talking about bulletproofing your TVC process, ensuring error-free and reliable inspection and as-built data in pods. All right, so, and we have a special guest today, which is very exciting. Real quick, we're going to just do some housekeeping and safety moments. Housekeeping is we're using Teams now for these podcast webinars. So, and we just started using them. We're only a couple in. So please give us some patience and grace whenever we're loading up the polls and everything. And please make sure that you use the chat box to ask questions and or give some feedback. It's really important to us. We always like two-way communication here at Pods, so please participate. If the panel can't get to your questions during the allotted time, because they have a lot of really great info that they want to cover today, then we're going to make sure that we get you those answers after the session. So quick safety for pedestrian tips. It's really pretty now, right? Spring is here. We're very excited for our, we get about a week of spring in Houston. And I think this is probably going to be probably even shorter one this time. So we're out and about. Make sure that you keep your eyes up and your phone down. Make sure you notice your surroundings. Always walk on the sidewalks. If you can wear bright colored clothing. If you're going to be out walking for a while or jogging, please do that. And then make eye contact with drivers because unfortunately people do a lot of texting and driving. So we need to be defensive about our walking as well. All right. So if you're here because you're either a part of the Pods community or you're excited to possibly be joining, Pods is actually we're 27, 28 years old now. And we are the industry standard and community for efficient pipeline data management. So the Pods model is a data standard, a data template with which 200 operators in actually 39 countries all over the world use the system. So a lot of people use this system because it's pipe centric, specifically for organizing your pipe data. And you can see all of the little pins on the pods pins on the map where everyone's using the pods data model. The benefits of it is that it's Esri compatible platform and that it has that linear referencing, right? And a pipe-centric database architecture. Great for standardizing your reporting, great for running risk and doing compliance, integrity management, and then also making sure that you have all your data in a single data repository. We all know that asset knowledge is absolutely essential to compliance and risk. So we're all here for the same thing, which is to operate our assets safely. So with that, now that we did a quick intro of Pods, we're going to do a quick intro of us. My name is Monique Roberts, Executive Director of Pods. Very excited to be here with you guys today. And we have a very special guest, Mr. Gade, Syria Gade. Is here with us with Gulf Companies. And I'm sure everybody knows him. I know everybody that knows him loves him. And we're super excited to have his input. I think he's wearing the same thing that he wore for his headshot today.
Slightly different, but want to match the picture.
Yeah. I have since dyed my hair since I took my headshot. All right, then we also have Mr. Abhishek, AKA Crash, and you should always ask him that story about how he got that name. And he's the associate advanced, awesome VP,
Associate. Yeah.
awesome, yeah, awesome VP of implementation at Petro IT. And then, of course, my cousin, Rick Roberts, actually no relation, but I wish he was, the one and the only, is here with us today. So Rick has just an absolute wealth of knowledge in the pipeline industry. We're so glad that he's also giving us a wealth of information on the PODS board. So he's been on the PODS board for quite a while now and such a great asset. And then also sits on our TCG committee as well to help with the technical governance. So guys, I did your intros for you so that you know y'all are going to be talking the whole time and you're going to need your voices to keep up with that. So what we want to do now is we want to launch a quick poll because now that you know about pods and you know a little bit about our panel, we want to make sure that we learn a little bit about you. So we are going to launch a poll. And again, remember I told y'all that you're going to have Grace with me. Okay. So you should have a poll pop up in your screen, in your Teams, right, setup. And we're wanting to know, how's your company manage source data and documents to support TVC and other regulatory compliance regulations? So go ahead and choose an option there and let us know. You can only choose one. It's either in-house team, third party, or do not have a process to manage currently. All right, everybody can see the poll and is logging in. All right. And we're going to go ahead and show the results. And it looks like, oh, wow, everybody's an in-house team. That's great. That's awesome. All right, good to know. So from there, we are going to go ahead and jump into some baseline information that Rick is going to share with us about the companies and kind of the situation here, the real life case study about how they work together. So I'll hand it over to you, Rick. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Monique. I'm going to turn my camera off where I can get you on a bigger screen here, where I can
Yeah,
actually see what's going on.
that's good.
Okay, so let's get going on this. A little bit about golf too. I just realized they've been around 70 years, which is longer than I have. But as long as I can
Not
remember,
by much.
no, but as long as I can remember, uh, we always had in front of us in some kind of project or something a Gulf Interstate drawing. That's how I remember it. So it's pretty cool. So today I'm excited to talk about a project where Gulf companies and Petro IT are collaborating on to drive some comprehensive solutions for our customer. And we'll be highlighting how we are our partnerships driving efficiency and compliance in the oil and gas pipeline industry. So Gulf companies, as I said, they're a global leader with over 70 years of expertise, and they provide end-to-end, that's hard to say, engineering, procurement, construction management service. They're known for delivering innovative and high quality pipeline solutions. So like I said, they've been around a long time. On the other hand, the Petro IT, we're at the forefront of digital transformation, enhancing data integrity, compliance, operational efficiency in the oil and gas pipeline industry. Our collaboration enhances our traceability, verifiability, and completeness, kind of a spin on TVC, but in the pipeline data through TVC compliance with our PipeTrack IT application. We digitize the field inspections for real-time validation and corrections, ensuring the accuracy, which streamlines the project execution process by enhancing all of that material tracking and that construction monitoring that needs to take place. So together we provide scalable, future-ready digital tools that align with the industry standards and evolving project needs, because there's always something coming up on a project where you've got to pivot and do something a little different. So the project that we're going to be talking about today is, it's not super complex, but let me talk about it for just a minute and give you some context on what we're going to be speaking to. So this pipeline project, our first supplier was Berg out of Panama City, Florida. So Berg supplied 10,000 joints of 48-inch of various wall thicknesses, some bare, some FBE, some FBE and ARO coated. Logistically, this pipe left the mill and went to multiple locations: 3 pipe yards, bender, fabricator, concrete coating yards. Some went by truck, some went by barge, some went by rail cars. Inspections were performed at various locations throughout all of this logistics. So you can kind of get started getting a feel of how this material moves around and how you need to be on top of it, because it can totally get away from you where you don't even know where it is. So our second supplier is Europipe out of Germany. So this was 854 joints of 48-inch heavy wall, different various wall thicknesses, but bare, FBE, and ARO coated. And this was used for all the crossings and things where today it requires you to have heavy wall. Logistically, this came in on ship in Port Arthur, Texas. So it came across from Germany, landed in Port Arthur. So that's where we had to start paying attention to it. All the construction inspection forms are digitized and on PipeTrack IT's mobile app. The inspectors are using tablets to complete inspections. Also, that comes along with that, that triggers workflow that reports approval, sends reporting for approval, automatic PDF conversion, linking all this data to the inspection reports. The important point here is this digital process totally eliminated all manual reporting. So there was no more manual report handling, ensuring efficient, accurate data management. So you had real data in your hands. Okay, Monique. There you go. So Monique talked about pods, and I think you guys understand that, but a little blurb about pods. And then TVC, so traceable, verifiable, and complete. This is a PHMSA term. We always like to talk about we were doing this with PipeTrack before it actually became a regulation, but in a nutshell, it's a regulatory framework from PHMSA ensuring that all pipeline materials, construction activities, and inspections are traceable, verifiable, or let me back up, traceable, they're linked to the source records, verifiable, backed by reliable evidence, and complete, comprehensive, and accurate. So a little pinwheel of Petro IT of our solutions. We're going to be mainly talking about from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that blue PipeTrack IT. We may touch on around the horn Stack 61, which is another application, and we will talk about Mosaic a little bit because we use our own application inside of PipeTrack IT. Okay, here we go. So at the beginning of every project, and I tried to get this to where it's, we're thinking and we're brainstorming and tried to symbolize that, but this is what takes place, or part of what takes place. So kind of starting up in the upper left there, first of all, hey guys, what data model are you using? Kind of right out of the chute, what data model are you using? So we can start wrapping our head around this as we answer more questions. Then we could start going around, where is the design data? your IFCs and all of this stuff. Is it gas? Is it liquid? Is it LNG? What's going on? Which rule do you want to apply to the project? A lot of times you may be doing a liquid line, but your customer says, hey, let's comply with DOT 192. So that it's a little more strict. At some point, you may want to convert that line to gas, so you need to be ready for that. How will you manage the material? What is your system of record? How basic questions. How are you anticipating the survey data being transmitted to you? And we ask all these questions because we want to fit within the customer's processes as much as possible. We don't have to change things. What is your data handover process? What is your existing inspection process? How will we get the material documentation? Do you have existing inspection forms that are a standard in your company? We run into this all the
So
time.
many people.
This is what you use.
Yeah. And y'all do this for so many great companies that, y'all know kind of what to look for too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm probably missing, this is just a kind of a brain dump on my part, so I'm probably missing some things here too. But what locations will the material be shipped? Like I kind of talked about that earlier here. Is the material coming from the mill, or is it existing material that you have? And here's an important one. Do you have a data standard, or do you have a data dictionary that you're going to be following? These are very important things for us to understand up front. And we'll talk about more up front as we go through this thing. Okay.
Yep. I think basically thinking through the entire process from a design to construction to data handover from a data standpoint of view, right? I think, and the TVC standpoint of view.
Yes, sir.
All the questions.
Yes, sir. So moving on, I'm going to kind of step through this at a high level, just a few basic steps, and then later on I'll hand it off and we'll get more technical. But pre-construction phase, here we start getting into the high level details on how we'll start managing a project. We'll start front end loading the software with all the IFC information. So that is issue for construction. It's a common term in the industry. And what we do is take that and start loading it into the software. So we'll load material information along with that and things that are pertinent to the project. And what this does is it enables the mobile users to start leveraging this technology to see the material descriptions, heat numbers, pipe numbers, things like that actually in the field. For instance, when they scan a barcode, the system already knows the unique attributes of that material, so it's going to populate as soon as they scan. So this information is also then accessible in the form of code lists, domains. The main thing we're doing here is we're keeping the user from actually typing. We don't want them to have to type anything. We want it to pull from the actual data. So this is also at this pre-construction phase. This is when we'll start the training. It'll start working with those mobile users to get them competent in the applications and help them understand the regulatory requirements. They need to understand why or what they're doing this for, and also the just data management best practices. So you get them up to speed so where you got a competent person in the field that's actually doing this work. So doing this or during the project, if this is understood and followed, everybody understands and they're on the same page, you'll be TVC compliant. So moving on a little bit, material management and verification. So when the pipe starts to be manufactured, we'll begin collecting the data or have the manufacturer provide the data into the application. A lot of times this happens where they're populating it into our application. Of course, the material will undergo inspection as it's completed. So this starts your inspection chain. And sometimes you'll even start double joining. It'll take place at the mill. So your welding inspection may start physically at the mill as well. So during this process, you'll start seeing things like QR codes or barcodes, which typically the manufacturers provide on all the material nowadays. What we try to do is we try to enable the software to use the manufacturer's information so that we're not requiring the customer to spend more funding on barcoding material and doing all this a second time. And this is almost always 100% doable. So in this instance, the one we're talking about today with all the Berg pipe, we can directly read a Berg barcode. So this is where it's very important to start gathering all of your TVC documentation and place it in a centralized location, ensuring that everything is linked up within the software. And we provide that repository in PipeTrack so you can keep up with the full document management system. So when you view a joint of pipe within the software, and you can kind of imagine you're looking at a row or something and you see this joint of pipe, well, you can click on that heat number. It's going to return you the actual physical MTR. So it's just a point and click. You got your TVC documentation. So these things like this are a big part of getting past those construction audits that we're seeing a lot nowadays. So when the auditors come to the field, they want to see the documentation. And if you can point to it and click, one click and they've got an MTR in front of them, it goes a long ways to satisfying what they're looking for. And they'll usually, your audit could go to, hours versus days. And this goes throughout the whole process. Say welding, you'll start seeing point and click and get to that information. Moving on to ensuring, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Rick, we need to speed up just a little bit.
Okay, I'm about done here. So ensuring material traceability. Now a little bit we mentioned barcodes previously, and that's one popular way to ensure the traceability. I failed to mention in the previous slide that sometimes the customer or folks think that the documentation coming from the mill is 100% correct. But let me tell you, that's not always the case. The mill makes mistakes too. So you can't wait till further down the line to start looking at this. So you need to perform your first due diligence check on the mill. Hey, mill, have you got this right? So is the stencil inside the pipe? Does it match the documentation of the barcode outside the pipe? Those type of checks need to be happening. Also, here's another due diligence check. A lot of times this pipe will go to a coating mill. At a coating mill, they may need to transfer the heat and the pipe number, especially smaller pipe, to the inside so they can do their coating. And then they got to take that inside, what they wrote inside, move it back to the outside, re-stencil everything. Big area you need to look at. It's a critical point that you need to pay attention to maintain TVC. Okay,
just
Monique.
want to add to that, Rick. Earlier you described our project, right? That was a class 900 system, so it's a very custom-made. It's a roll, right? So we have to catch some of these mistakes pretty early on. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of effect on the schedule and eventually the costs. So yes. Having your system, using your system, I think we caught quite a bit pretty early on. So that was good.
Yes. Yeah. And in this case, both Gulf and Petro IT have tons of domain experience in the industry, not just what we're actually talking about here with software. We have domain experience to back it up, so we know what to look for. Go ahead, Monique.
Yeah, so our next thing up here is what is your primary challenge? What is the primary challenge your company faces in achieving TVC compliance? So answers are data silos, manual QA QC, no process for traceability during construction, or no data and document standards. So everybody, please vote on those. And while everybody's voting on that poll, Syria, is what was y'all's primary challenge that you faced?
I think data silos definitely, because we have engineering and we have procurement procurement manages some of these documents which are coming from vendors, and we have a construction management. So we have our own forms, and we collect quite a bunch of inspection records. Centralizing all in one using Petro IT solution here was very helpful. Both from TVC, but also from a FEMSA audits perspective. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're thinking about being in compliance long after you commission the pipe, and you're building your system then to be in compliance once you're done, right? You have eyes on the end game.
No, absolutely correct. I mean, that's the end game, but even while we are building it, having that confidence that we are being, we are complying with the regulations and the TVC standpoint of view, having that confidence and comfort goes long ways, right? We don't want to scramble towards the end. So.
Right. That's smart. Yeah, because now you're saving money, right? So yeah, we've had 9 people respond. Y'all make sure you go into the poll section on your team's setup and vote for those polls so we can get some good responses. And you can actually vote for all 4 polls now if you'd like to. And they're going to show up on the in the chat portion of the screen for the teams. So it looks like the majority of people said data silos and manual QA QC process. So in line with what you said, Syria, with the data silos, and then of course what Rick explained, right? When you have that manual QA QC process, it slows you down, and you introduce an option of having, human error, right?
Yep.
All right. So yeah. So
All
moving
right.
along.
I'm going to move it on along here. So moving into the construction, what we'll do is start moving pipe or material to the field. The first thing that happens is the stringing. So at this point, each joint is strung and recorded on the mobile devices, allowing real-time reporting to your managers, your people that's supervising the project, whoever the case may be. They can see all this real time, what's going on in the field. They'll see things like the location, the number of joints strung, if the joints are stacked, they'll see all of this stuff going on just like they're out there. So also I mentioned earlier that we front end load all the IFCs into the software. This is an important point. So the software is looking at each piece of material as it's getting strung, checking its location and looking at the design and alerting on things that do not match the design. For instance, here's one, and I always use as an example. It's easy to understand. If you string 375 wall pipe where you should have 500 wall pipe, the software will alert you and tell you, hey, this pipe does not go here. We're not going to stop any work, but hey, worker, this pipe, the wall thickness does not match your design. So you're getting alerts as things are abnormal in the field. This is not only compliance, but it's efficiency. You lay the wrong pipe and you have rework. It's plain and simple. So after that pipe strung, you'll move on to welding. And as Monique knows, this is the one I really like to harp on, but this is the most critical, one of the most critical areas that you have. And this is where your inspectors are recording the welding activity, but they're also recording your material, your upstream joint, your downstream joint, the fitting, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. This is critical. This is very critical to demonstrate the material that's in the line and tying it to the documentation. The software is also validating things like welder qualifications, welding procedures. It's making sure that you're falling in line with what you're supposed to be doing. My famous quote is, it's all about the weld. And I'll always believe this because almost everything revolves around the weld. So what I say here is document it well and you'll be in good shape. And I've got, I think, one more slide and we'll get out on to crash. So this one is called project data commissioning. Commissioning's a typical term in the industry, but in this case it's data. So we're going to be moving what we've collected. So what I like to say here is we marry the material and construction activities. Now remember, we've been collecting this. We've been collecting all the welding information and all of the material information. So at the same time, surveys collecting XYZs on every weld as we go along. So I like to say we marry that material and construction activity to the survey data. So we actually have a twin, of what we actually put in the ground. So at this point, we use another one of our tools that is called Mosaic to validate against the data standard, what you expected as a customer, what you expect as your standard. And we also use it to validate spatial data along the center line and output the pod's deliverable. So this was a high-level snapshot of what takes place. So now we'll dive more into the details with Crash. So he's going to be talking about how we use technology and how we do it to maintain our compliance.
Thanks, Rick.
Mhm.
Can you switch to next slide, Monique? Thank you, Rick. So as Rick said, we're going to be talking about more on one of the solutions, PipeTrack ID. So very briefly, PipeTrack ID is a comprehensive pipeline data management system designed to streamline the entire pipeline construction process. So it enables real-time tracking, management, and reporting of data, ensuring all the information is traceable, verifiable, and compliant with PHMSA TVC regulations. PipeTrack IT enhances efficiency and accuracy to provide a robust solution for managing pipeline projects from start to finish. So we say cradle to database. So basically from the start point, from the time the material was manufactured till the time where it's been installed, it covers the entire spectrum. Next slide, please. A very brief about some of the features on PipeTrack IT is PipeTrack IT ensures full traceability, full lifecycle tracking of all pipeline components from procurement to installation. This traceability is crucial for maintaining accurate records and ensuring accountability. Along the way, the system provides data-driven insight into quality of materials and construction process. This analytics helps identifying potential issues early and ensure that quality standards are met consistently. PipeTrack IT aligns with PHMSA standards for traceability, verifiability, and completeness. This compliance is essential for meeting regulatory requirements, which Rick touched upon in previous slides, and avoid any potential fines or project delays. That's why we call it TVC plus. The system supports real-time inspection and compliance verification by capturing data throughout the production and construction phases. This real-time data captures ensures that any issues can be addressed promptly. PipeTrack IT creates a reliable, verifiable records that meets regulatory requirements. So your system, or if you get audited at any point of time, it takes care of that. Monica, I'm still on a previous slide. So the system is designed to adopt the projects of any size, from small jobs to major capital projects. The scalability ensures that PipeTrack can grow with your business and meet your evolving needs. So by leveraging these features, PipeTrack provides a robust solution for managing pipeline projects efficiently and effectively. Next slide, please, Monique. So this is how PipeTrack ID works, where, like Rick said, we set up everything based off design data. So it enables your mobile apps with a real-time check on anything which is captured during the inspection. Then entire spectrum of material tracking has been done, and construction process is tracked. And then we marry the survey data with that material and construction data. And along the way, all the quality records are automatically generated and linked with the data. So that's what make it more, TVC compliance, where everything is linked at one centralized location. Next slide, please. So this is a whole workflow where you can see everything, how it's happening, start to end. If you see on the left-hand side, typically on your projects, your materials are coming directly from pipe mills or different suppliers. the people who's using a mobile app, if you see at the bottom, it's talking about what all different actions are performed at each location. So if I talk about receiving location, if you see at the bottom, when a material has been received, the inspection is being carried out. Anything which is out of, if there's an anomaly, it's been can be quarantined. The inspection can also log rejects, repair, and also capture any pictures. Moving along, when it goes to construction activities, the same action can be performed there as well. During the construction, the entire inspection of all the construction activities are performed on mobile app. And along the way, all this data is pushed to a cloud, which is set up on Amazon Web Services, more secure cloud. And once your project is complete, you see the mosaic over there, one of the solutions Rick talked about. That's where all this information is processed, converted to a data model, like in this case, a PODS data model, and then push it to a customer GIS team. So in this case, we'll be pushing everything to Surya's group, where they'll do a final check before they hand over that particular database with all the documents linked to their customer. So that's end-to-end workflow of this whole process.
Yep. But just to add on to what you mentioned, Abhi, as you know, we've been working with Petro IT well before the construction began, right? Even from engineering and procurement stage, developing a checklist of things that we need from vendors using Petro IT's templates, basically ensuring the data that will be captured and that will be given to us will comply with our requirements, regulatory and TVC requirements, right? We are keeping our eyes pretty open from that perspective. Also, for example, we had pretty good strategic meetings with engineering, all those folks involved. We handed over several documents, pretty early on, like alignment sheets, our forms, inspection forms, different construction activity formats, approved procedures, welding procedures, pipe data. Obviously, Abhi Crashes and Rick's team is well embedded, talking with the mills and making sure the data is coming into, just like Abhi Crash was explaining. So that was very fruitful in the ability to centralize all this data into one location. Obviously, the other data 101s, the data formats, data dictionaries, and things like that were also discussed. Having that an experienced vendor. We have just like Rick said, we have 70 plus years of experience in pipeline, but having a software vendor who's familiar with this process was very helpful, rather than explaining, hey, teaching them what the pipeline is. But here, these guys are pretty experienced with the whole process. So that became a little bit easier for us. Basically, this ensured our pipeline construction inspection is robust and adheres to TVC requirements. Yep.
Surya,
So
I have a question.
Yep.
Real quick. So do you guys start looking at this, like, where are you when you're looking at routing, or are you at FEL1 or feed studies, or like when do you start engaging, like when you've decided on a route and that's when you're engaging?
Mainly when we are getting close to IFB, and also procurement, even I would say from the time we are engaged with the pipe mills.
Okay. So
and
that's when you
the
get
other
started.
vendors,
Yeah.
MLVs and Ls and all the good stuff, because that happens
you're
pretty
dealing with
early on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're dealing with several logos, right? Several different companies, the mill, the of course your client, right? The operator, the mill, everybody. And I think that's one of the cool things about the Petro IT software is that multiple people can engage. Like Rick said, the mill company can upload their reports. The operator has access so they can see what's going on. Of course, y'all, the EPC needs to have. So it's like there are very few people on the market that I know of that have that ability to where everybody can engage, because it really is everybody's on the same team. You just have different logos, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Giving the transparency, having the transparency to ourselves and give it to our client, hey, how much production is happening? How much is in the truck? How much is in the barge? And how much is all the material inventory? Having that transparency was pretty good, really good. Yeah.
I bet
Yeah.
that saved y'all a bunch of money.
Definitely a lot of headache, and also feeling confident about what we're receiving, and definitely the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you picture in your mind kind of a pinwheel with vendors all the way around, and Petro IT tends to be in the middle, so we're tying everybody in, and everything's centralized in that one location.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the fact that we both speak data, Gulf is pretty heavy on geospatial centric way of doing it, and Petro IT is also obviously geospatial centric, so it's pretty easy to marry both. Yeah.
We know that Gulf's been a PODS member for a long, long time, and we appreciate it very much.
We appreciate the same.
All right. I'll speed up thing a little bit. So what you're seeing here is just a visual of, doesn't matter how your project is set up, doesn't matter if it's already started, but yeah, if we get there beforehand, the traceability can start from any point. And like Rick said, if the material already have barcodes or QR codes, the system can work with that also. If it doesn't, then the app would still work. It has scan and search both functionality, but it would track all production logistic end to end at any point. Next slide, please, Monique.
Yep. Oh, we got another polling question. Okay, so let's look and see the results. I think a lot of people have already responded.
I like that function, Monique. That's a good one. Go ahead and get it over with.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So for question number 3, we had sorry, 1 second. Yeah. What type of tool or tools does your company currently use for pipeline material traceability? So spreadsheets, which, more often than not are not even shared on a SharePoint or a OneDrive or anything. They're like on somebody's laptop, right? A specialized software like PipeTrack IT, a filing system with hard copy records, are no dedicated tools. So I can't see the results right now. Guys, what are the results there? Can we see them? No?
Nope.
I can see.
Let's see. View poll. Yeah, I can't see them either. Okay, well, we'll look at those later on for sure. So, all right. So next up on you run with the damage report, Crash, and I'll go see if I can get the results.
All right. So what you all are seeing here is, a joint being flagged by inspection. So when it's received and they did a visual, they flagged a damage. And when anything is flagged damage, you would definitely capture a picture. And what it does in the system, it restricts it to further use it. So unless somebody once the manufacturer or vendor repair the damage and it's inspected again, so you will see the before and after both history in the system. But yeah, it would not let that joint leave that location. So that is also a saving where it will not cause you extra work, where you need where you end up seeing this joint and then on the right of way.
Yep. So I want to say something here. You may ask why this is important that this process takes place, but and the answer is as an operator, you want to keep your pipe in the ground as long as possible, and you want it running at as high pressure as possible for as long as you can, because if this anomaly gets in the ditch, your first ILI run, you're going to be excavating or lowering your pressure, which either one is very costly as an operator. So this is why we're checking this stuff.
Yeah, I think we also, I mean, at Gulf, we have a field inspection team. They are pretty experienced with this process, and the process that has been set up here, they appreciate quite a bit, because we have a pretty good transparency on what are those anomalies and how they're rectified. So
And what you're seeing here is that, you can also
Oh,
set
that's
up a
good to know.
process where you can have a picture of your stencil. Like Rick mentioned early on, there are anomalies we have seen where ID stencil does not match with OD stencil. So at any point of time, when a regulator actually sees it, when there's a question on, hey, can we look at the stencil, what actually came in? So you have pictures of each piece of uh, each stencil attached to the joint of pipe. Next slide, please.
Yeah, guys, hold on one second. So
Mhm.
I finally got to the results now. So actually the poll ended up changing for number one. 86% of people said in-house team, and a few people did no process to manage currently and third party for how they're managing their source data. And then number two, predominantly answered was manual QA QC. Second was data silos. So that's also in line with what you guys are seeing out there in the field and talking to your clients. And then number three, what type of tool or tools predominantly was a specialized software like PipeTrack IT. And then of course, a filing system and different answers there. So yeah, just very much in line, right, with what you guys were thinking and talking about, right?
Yep. Thanks, Moni.
Mhm.
So what you're seeing here is one of the sample of an inspection form, which is set up on a mobile phone or an iPad, which inspectors actually fill. What you can see all the compliance check which is in there, in terms Jeep calibration, in terms of it's the pipe has been received as per the API standard or not. What manpower equipment has been used on that particular day is in there. So that also enables your compliance that your inspections are, you know, uh, set up in a way where it meets all the compliance standard. This is just a brief of basically it doesn't matter how many or what construction activities are assigned or are required for a project. PipeTrack can be set up for all the activities. We have a library of almost 105 activities. So we have a library of forms which we expose to the customers. But if you have your own, you can set it up in this system.
So Crash, I thought guys were just like trying to flex on how good you are with your visuals and your slides, but is this guy that's backfilling, is he levitating down here?
Yeah.
Like if you use pipe track, can you now fly? Is that what you're saying? Do you turn into Superman?
No, he's just excited with the pipeline construction. So
Oh,
he's
is that what he
been,
is?
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is a safe move to jump from the
Yeah.
truck to the
Yeah.
excavator. I don't think, or whatever this is. Yeah, but I can see
Yeah.
his excitement.
He's probably quitting.
Right. Wait, what is it? Yeah. What is it? Pipe track gives you wings.
So this is a quick snapshot of how the inspection happens. So if you have an inspector who's doing a visual inspection in the field using the mobile apps or tablet, they capture all the inspection information and all the parameters required for the inspection are built in the form. So like Rick said, if there are anomalies, they'll be flagged on the form itself. Once they submit the report, it goes to the chief inspector or whoever their supervisor is. If something is not right, it can be rejected, goes back to the inspector where they can make the corrections. And if it is accepted and is signed, their digital signature will be there on the inspection report, and the report automatically converts to a PDF and link with the data. So there is no manual work required. When I say link with data, so if it is inspection for the weld or a welding, that welding report will automatically link with those welds. So nobody is manually doing it, and it's all automated process.
so just want to add one quick thing. Our construction manager was pretty involved with this entire, the forums and customizing them to our needs with Petro IT's help. And also, I mean, he's the one who kind of thought through this workflow process to make sure it's simple enough at the same time, not too complex. So anyway, just want to add that quick note.
So with PipeTrack IT, we also enable a GIS application for the customers if they are not using their own. So if you see at the bottom, You can configure by upfront your pods data model at the bottom, where once the data is captured, it automatically is aligned with the feature classes. But it will also give you an ability where you can click on a where, like what you're seeing over here. Can you make one more click, Monique?
Yeah.
And you
Now,
can pull it.
Crash, while I love that you guys are such great pods members and so supportive of our community and data model, this also will work with other data
Yes.
models, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surya, want to add anything?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think in our case, we have our own GIS portal, and we have integrated their APIs with ours. So basically, all the information that you're seeing, the construction information, they are seamlessly transferred to our GIS applications. I mean, basically, this gives, I mean, we have our internal dashboards. So we look into all these, the status and progress and inventories. So we use Petro IT's data to develop our own internal dashboards and things like that. But long story
Okay.
short, we integrated our APIs with theirs. Yeah.
So you're
We tap
truly,
onto their APIs otherwise.
yeah. So you're as close, I hate to use the term real time because y'all know I used to sell software and I hate that term, but as close to possible, you are in real time as building while building.
So sorry, I think I missed you a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
there.
No,
it is correct,
Yeah.
though. I heard
Okay.
it, Surya. Yeah. And like Surya said, most of the customers do have their own ArcGIS server application running in-house, so it's very easily that we can hook up the APIs and you can see it in your own system.
Next slide, please, Monique.
Oh, we have another poll. Okay. And I have the results of that one. So what aspect of pipeline data management is your organization looking to improve? And the majority responded with material tracking and traceability. So that's great that everybody's focused on wanting to get that done right before they start. And anybody that said not looking to improve, shame on y'all.
Yeah, you're going out of business when PIMSA gets there.
So what you're seeing over here in PipeTrack, we also have a document management system. So apart from all the inspection record, which is linked with data, anything with your folder structure, which is basically can be a job box structure, is also uploaded to PipeTrack IT, like your purchase orders, your plats, your design calculations. Because when auditor comes in, they do ask for all the information. Now you can't say that I have half the information here, half somewhere else. So everything is at one place. Doesn't matter where you are, you can run your audit. This is, I brought up Mosaic early on. So what Mosaic is that it has you can set up a data model and you can set up all the rules on which a database should be checked on Mosaic. So when you are also receiving information, suppose from a survey, we can run it through Mosaic. And if there are gaps, we can report the gaps quickly. But if there are no gaps, if the data is in compliance, then you can push it directly to the PODS data model. So this is a snippet of basically how Mosaic shows the gap. So, and it's very instant. So the moment you upload it, you instantly see, if you see on the left-hand side, there was an, survey error, or there was an overlap error, there was some mandatory attribute data was missing. And this is all coming based on the rules set up on Mosaic. So there is no manual work, but the whole point is the efficiency, how quickly we can flag it. So there are no iterations. Can you make one more click, Puneet? So
Yeah.
this is all inside Mosaic, where there is a button. If you see there are no reds, you click on that button, one more click. And you can download a GTB and then push it to your enterprise data model once you're done. So all the database with all the data with links of documents is right there after you are done with the project.
So that's y'all made an easy button is what you're saying. The
Yep.
thing that, it's very nervous. It makes me nervous to say there's an easy button, but it looks like
Yeah,
it.
really.
Yeah. I know we talked about auditors a lot over here. So when conducting an audit, several key questions go through an auditor's mind, and this is what it is. They assess whether all the compliance records are readily available and how quickly these records can be accessed. The time it takes to locate the right document is crucial, as is whether the responsible person needs to sift through multiple files, folders, and job boxes to find necessary documents. Additionally, auditors evaluate the robustness of inspection process and also forms from a compliance and safety standpoint. That's what I covered when I showed you one of the forms. Understanding these considerations help us improve our process to ensure efficiency and compliance. And Surya, you can add to that.
No, I think, yeah, basically, we had an internal audit on a project that we're working on with Petro. I think instead of taking a significant part of the day, so the audit was over in a matter of an hour or a couple of hours. It was our
Wow.
client was pleasantly surprised, and they did pretty good. They have a pretty good checklist, but we passed with flying colors. So
Good job. And then y'all just went eat or something? Like, how did you,
Yeah.
are you just like, did you take them for margaritas? Like, what'd you do?
yeah.
It was in Louisiana, so it was boudin.
Oh, so y'all went to eat some crawfish? Okay, good.
The feedback we got, Monique, was that the auditor said, if we see it one time that you are following a good process, then it builds a confidence in them for the next time. So,
Yep.
And that's what their
Yeah,
feedback
that
was.
translates to that they just want to go have crawfish instead
Yeah.
of that's good.
Yeah,
Now I'm hungry.
my last slide is next. So overall, with these solutions, it definitely provides a lot of efficiencies and saving to customers who are using it. So it also enables an easy, complete data and documentation handover as the project progresses. So you're not waiting for records to view them. It's all real time available to you. And biggest is the QA/QC process. It alerts the issues while the construction is happening or when it occurs, when the issue occurs, not later on. Also provides you analytics on your crew or a progress or a quality, which helps people to make early decisions and provide you risk protection as you go on the project. And biggest one, ensure TVC compliance as the project is progressing and help you achieve a quicker and cleaner project closeout.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Fellas, I just want to I want to give y'all a minute or two to give your closing thoughts on that real quick. We have a bunch of stuff coming up. We're working on so many things that Petro IT and their group are helping us out with, as well as all of our great pods community members like Syria and everybody else. So you guys, please join us if you can at the Spring Forum in Houston coming up on April the 28th. And we're going to be at Urgis as well that week. We have a very special announcement, super surprise special announcement that we're going to be giving at Urgis. So you guys, please make it on the Thursday. Pods has a full hour that Esri has given us to do some surprises and some updates. So it's going to be great. And then we're coming up to the PTC Berlin. We pack up the booth at Urgis and we get on the plane and go to Berlin, right? And do that there. And so if you're a Pods member, you get a discount to that. And we're going to do a Pods International Forum as well. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. So please join us if you can at any of our upcoming events. And with that, fellas, I'm going to give it back to y'all for any kind of closing thoughts and give everybody's contact information as well.
Yeah. One thing is, just wanted to point out, you went through those. So Petro IT will have a booth at Urgis and Berlin. So if you're attending either one of those, we'll be there.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Pods Polygon, right? So y'all's booth right next to us, and then across from another Pods member. So it's a triangle. So it's the Pods Polygon. I'm so clever.
Yeah, keep it GIS.
And yeah, we'd
Thanks
like
for
to
having
thank
me.
you. We'd like to thank you, Gulf and Surya, for joining us.
Yes.
And sharing his feedback. You'd like to add anything to Surya?
So thank you for having me here. It has been fun.
Yep. Right on time,
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much to Gulf and to Petro IT for joining us today and sharing their experience in great quality and efficient processes around data for pipelines. We're very excited about that. Please join us again at the Pod Spring Forum. It's going to be downtown right before the Urges event. And again, thank you so much for participating in these podcasts. And thank you, fellas. And thank you for all the participants. We're not here without you guys. So
Yeah,
you
thank
guys
you
have a great
for
rest of your day.
joining. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.